This is a public service announcement regarding football players and the injuries they endure.
Pro football was created on November 12, 1492, a day that has forever changed sports. Ever since then, football has been the most popular and talked about sport, yet football contributes great danger to players that are a part of the sport due to concussions, brain diseases, and mental instabilities. One of the many injuries that occurs to football players are concussions. Eric Pelly was a football player that craved contact. Due to this craving he has experienced many concussions which turned to clumps of poisoned cells in his brain, which soon led to his death. Another situation is with a player Chad who had taken on a nasty looking collision, which led to a concussion. From that, Chad's brain had been starved for oxygen, which turned out to be a catastrophic injury, later leading to his death.
In addition, brain diseases have also played a huge role in football, causing traumatic brain injury and chronic traumatic encephalopathy disease. Large numbers of college football players were seriously hurting each other, causing fractured skulls, concussions, and other head trauma. And Centers for Disease Control state traumatic brain injury has increased by 62%. Next, another popular disease is chronic traumatic encephalopathy disease, which is the progressive degeneration of the brain that follows multiple head traumas and leads to changes in mood, cognition, and behavior, but it does not appear to be prevented by modern helmets today.
Lastly, mental instability causes suicide and depression towards most players, such as Junior Seau. NFL players transitioning into retirement brings up difficult issues and uncomfortable feelings. Identity crisis, loss of structure, loss of purpose, isolation, denial, anxiety, and depression. Seau was experiencing all of these things. The suicide rate for NFL players is 6 times the national average according to the GameOver.org, a not-for-profit organization that provides transitional resources to benefit retired professional athletes. Along the same lines, the most common pathway to suicide is through depression, which afflicts 2/3 of all people who kill themselves. In October, researchers in Canada found that the depressed who commit suicide have an abnormal disruption of receptors for the chemical GABA, one of the most abundant neurotransmitters in the brain. The GABA's role is to inhibit neuron activity, which football disrupts. Seau, who had very few deeply meaningful relationships over the years, once said that he felt unworthy of being loved and often extremely lonely. He was never diagnosed with clinical depression, never received medical treatment for it, and never took antidepressants. But he showed signs of such extreme lows in the late 1990s that his ex-wife Gina said she and their 3 children would have to retreat to the other end of the house to get away from him and his low moods. Other players who have committed suicide, along the lines with Junior Seau, who was 43, with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the chest, was Paul Oliver, who was 29 years old and shot himself as well. Also, from another team, the Chiefs, Jovan Belcher killed his 22-year-old girlfriend in their home while his mother was watching their daughter in another room, and then drove to the Chiefs training facility where he shot himself in the head in front of his coaches.
In conclusion, football is an entertaining and popular sport. However, is it really worth going through or watching others go through so much danger? There are just too many risks that fall through due to concussions, brain diseases, and mental instability, and that's just a short list. It's our job to create a better future and a place where safety and health comes first.